welcome to the Abnormal, Strange, and Weird podcast, a show dedicated to all such things and everything in between. Now sit back and relax and join us as we talk about weird shit. Well, hello there. How are you doing today?
I am well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. My name's Patrick Dyer. This is Amanda Geezy. Welcome to the Abnormal, Strange, and... what's the last part?
Weird.
Abnormal, Strange, and Weird podcast.
That was a hard end to that music intro.
It's pretty badass, right?
I mean, it's badass and all, but it came to a grinding, screeching halt.
Well, it was a nice fade out. You're just hearing stuff.
I didn't hear it from the...
Well, go to aswcast.com for all our content. If you'd like to contact us, go to the bottom of the page and click on the email icon. No one's contacted us yet. So
Not through the website, right?
Nope. I haven't
some
seen anything
contact.
Otherwise, really. You pay attention to the comments. I'm very bad at that. I've been doing the comments on YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah,
me
people
too.
have been paying attention.
Yeah,
It goes up each week. It's kind of nice.
I like seeing familiar faces on there.
Yeah, for sure. Most of the guys seem to like it from the other show.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm having a good time.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I like what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I think we ought to get into what were we talking about? Dulce, New Mexico, and then a little bit of the MK Ultra, huh? And
I mainly I dove into a MK Ultra wormhole.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked to know what you looked into with Dulce, New Mexico.
We'll go for
Dulce,
it.
how do you say it?
Well, I don't know.
Dulce?
When I learned Spanish, it was always dulce. It means like candy, doesn't it? I think it means candy. But I think we pronounce everything wrong all the time as Americans. So it could be dolce, dulce.
Dulce.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going with dulce. What do you think?
I'm into it. Agreed, moving forward.
Well, yeah, go for it. You could start on some MK Ultra. I did some pretty interesting research on that too.
It's crazy. And like what I kept thinking about while I was digging in was that Social Dilemma movie.
Sure.
Doc. And how they are selling guaranteed shifts in people's behavior on a massive scale.
Totally.
So,
So
it's
social
clearly
media,
a result of this stuff. They've wiped
it's
people's
crack.
Right. Well, it was made marketable.
Superversion to the masses.
What they did, they used LSD. That was just a small part of it, though. They would put people in comas for months with daily electric shock therapy. That's just how I say it.
Yeah.
That's not what it was. It was torture.
Yeah, they called it, what was it? Psychological torture. I saw that repeatedly when I was reading about it.
They had another word for it. Driving. Psychic driving. But another thing that stunned me, because I use this as a tool to get myself into meditative states or to help rewrite my inner monologue. I'll listen to videos that have overlapped voices repeating the same words. So every time you hear like this sentence that they read, you hear it 20 times in that one soundbite,
Sure, no.
So it drills it in, that's something that they did to these people, completely wiping their personalities.
It's horrible.
And then giving them 170 days consecutive doses of acid. Can you fucking imagine?
Well, I read
Should
a lot
I swear
of them.
or no?
I'll go for it.
All right.
What I read too was a lot of them didn't consent to any of it. They just kind of snagged people.
Yeah.
So that's fucking even more. Could you just imagine you're just hanging out, you're some promising kid at like Purdue or some shit, and then all of a sudden you're part of a insane CIA program. When they said they could prove it was 80 plus different schools and installations that were doing this. So imagine how many people were actually affected that we have no idea about. Just some regular old family man that fucking.
Well, their families know.
Well, some of them, yeah, I did read about that. One guy committed suicide after he started talking about it. Yeah.
He wasn't even a patient. Like
Oh
they gave
no.
him some sleep therapies, and but he was administering a lot of this stuff.
Oh really? See, I read about someone else too. So there must be.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Maybe
No,
he was just
it was an actual patient. Yeah, but it might have been connected somehow. Who knows? They ended up paying out to this family like $750,000. Did you read about that?
Well, I don't know. I read about several lawsuits.
This one in particular, I think it was Olson, something Olson. I can't remember the name. But yeah, he supposedly was on LSD and jumped off the school or something like that. Yep, and of course the family didn't believe that, and they think there's murder allegations, but they could never prove it, of course. Mm-hmm. They couldn't prove the program was around until like the 70s. It started in 1953. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And they said they started it to be able to do interrogations better, basically.
Yeah, they heard about brainwashing in other countries for sure. They wanted to be prepared. So they started working on this stuff with soldiers, servicemen, and women.
Yeah, there probably was a lot less women back there.
But some of there was one lady, she's like, she went to the doctor about her postpartum depression, and then they subjected her to this.
Oh, Jesus.
Totally robbed her of her life.
I believe that. They did all kinds of crazy crap to women. They still do, but it was way more back then, for sure.
I mean, but it's this, the 70s. In the 84 is when they filed a lawsuit, and they were like, one dude was talking about Canada waiting to see if America would settle. If the United States would settle, I mean.
Well, I kind of found that interesting. Not that I don't know much about Canada, but I certainly read it was all the North America, basically.
Oh yeah,
I assume they have their maniacs as well, so I don't see why I'd be surprised.
One dude was named Harvey. It was like Warrenstein or something. Just like one kind of one letter off from Weinstein, but it drove me to think they were also talking about the Unabomber being subject to MK Ultra. I keep saying treatments. It wasn't treatments.
No, it was definitely
torture.
They kept calling it a study. It was a study,
right?
Well, I read there was 3 names that really popped out that everybody knew about. Was definitely the Unabomber, and they said that I think he was at Harvard when they started that. Was it Harvard? I don't know, but he did over 200 plus hours of it.
MIT, wasn't it?
I think.
Or was it at MIT?
I think it was Harvard when he was like 16, something crazy.
The Unabomber, I was thinking of. Anyway, MK Ultra stuff was happening at MIT too, I think.
But 200 plus hours of psychological torture. And then stuff came out for that Sirhan, the guy who killed Robert Kennedy, that he was part of that program. Same deal, but they couldn't prove him or the Unabomber. And the other one that kind of surprised me was that James Whitey Bulger. He was the assassin, for the mob.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Yeah. He said that in 1957 he was doing a prison stint, and they shot him up with LSD all the time and would study him afterwards. So and they're shooting him up with LSD. That's even crazier.
It's nuts.
Yeah, right to the vein.
Yeah, they say it was or was it something poison? Psychological poison. Let me get that here quick. I have it pulled up. The poisoner in chief, the CIA's secret quest for who's this dude? Sidney Gottlieb headed up the agency's program. It's just
Sydney?
Huh?
Sydney? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the
He was
last
ahead
name
of the
was tripping me
whole
up.
program, or what? Sorry, I missed the very.
He started it. They call
Oh,
him
Jesus.
the poisoner in chief.
Well, how do you come up with this shit? A lot of that stuff, even just the shock therapy, lobotomies, all the stuff that led up to this crap.
They
You
call
know.
this the most sustained search in history for techniques of mind control.
Hmm.
And you know the guy who shot up the theater?
In Colorado.
Yeah,
You know what the hell's his name? Holmes.
Holmes. He was out of his mind. He's still kind of out of his mind. And he was a student, a full-time student, unemployed, and he had an arsenal with no, did he have military background? It just
Oh,
seemed
I
very
don't know.
planted. In the same kind of situation with the Vegas shooting. All kinds of weapons, and so
Well, I
who
know he
knows
had.
though if they even got the right guy in that.
Well, I know they definitely had. They said that his apartment was rigged with bombs and stuff. So when they went to search it, and none of them went off.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of sucked like the Unabomber. Half his shit didn't work either.
You only need one to work, right?
Yep. He was trying for like
Well, I guess
30
maybe.
fucking years, the Unabomber. He was trying to make his statement for like 30 years, and he was unsuccessful many, many times. Luckily, he definitely killed, I think he killed 5 people in total, which is still too many, but he maimed a bunch of people, and, you know, I don't know. That one kind of, I don't, it
I
just
wonder if
shows
they're
you.
just trying to peg him for it because doesn't he have out a book or like there's a movie now?
Who, the Unabomber, or?
Yeah, talking about his, it's like his manifesto and it changes people's minds.
Well, he certainly had a manifesto, and they found all kinds of those parts in his place, so I don't know. I think in that case, they kind of got the right guy.
Yeah.
But I often think about, you know, people were so different back then. I mean, your neighbor, he was a very suspicious neighbor. He wasn't like as far out as people think. They're like, oh, he was in a cabin in the woods. He had neighbors. He had a mailbox. He was just a creepy dude on like whatever acres of land. And they would often find him going through their garages and stealing parts and stuff that he was using for the bombs. And no one
Hmm.
said shit. Not a fucking soul.
Hmm.
Nowadays, your fucking neighbor's playing music after 9 o'clock, and you're calling the SWAT team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have signs on the freeway telling you to do that.
Yeah. So
Tell on your neighbors.
it's kind of interesting. Well, I bet you a lot of stuff went unsolved just because of that. And I've talked often on our other show about how no law enforcement agency would like share information with the other one at that time period either. It was harder because
Oh,
there
in the
wasn't.
90s?
Nah, he started in the 70s, just all, you know, previous. He did it for like 30 years. Now I'm sure there's still, it's like a pride thing. It's like, nah, I'll fucking solve it, dude. But, and they said he smelled so awful that you could tell he was coming. So, I mean, why didn't anybody say shit? Isn't that hilarious? MK
Maybe
Ultra
it's
or
because
not?
he was brain dead a little from some MK Ultra.
Oh,
They felt bad for him
I
bumbling
think he was
around.
very brain dead. Yeah.
Same with Chris Holmes and whoever else. And I only think it was potentially not the guy that they shot in Vegas.
Oh, the other
But
shooter.
yeah.
See, I
I
don't
mean,
know what
because
to think
he
about that
wasn't even
one.
in the shape to be able to carry all that equipment. He took out one of the window panes
Mm-hmm.
in that hotel room. It would have been massive. Like you need equipment for that.
Well, I never looked much into that one. But I know there's
It
all
was
kinds of
creepy.
conspiracies around it.
It was creepy.
Well, I
It
stay
doesn't
at that
feel.
hotel. Every time I go there, I stay at those suites.
I've never been,
No, it's
and I
fun.
grew up in Reno.
It's, I don't know. It's a fun memory going to Vegas. I don't know how much I want to do it anymore.
Mm.
I like gambling and I like good food, but it's, you know, a bunch of 21-year-olds making a lot of noise. So, you know what I mean? I'm just old
I don't know.
now.
You'd probably dig Reno.
Is it
It's for
quieter?
old folks. Yeah,
Nice. I'm sold.
it's like Vegas
Well,
shrank a
at
little.
that Mandalay Bay where the shooting was, they have a whole separate tower of just suites that aren't attached to the casino, so it's kind of nice. You can get away even, and then when you want to go back to the chaos, Supposedly that's where he was at, was the tower, because I remember the last time I stayed there, I could see where they played those concerts, and it was before all that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I had friends working there.
At the concert?
Yeah. The show.
Oh, really?
Couple of.
You got a monster behind you.
It's my doubt. It freaked me out to see it there. I was like, oh,
You got
somebody's in my house.
Got a ghoul.
It's just interesting to think of what you might be able to do with a malleable human mind.
Yeah, I was just about to go there myself, because you can manipulate people with words pretty easily in that state. And imagine if you did it with drugs and situations and torture, and
they studied it hard.
Yeah.
So they know all of the ways.
well,
I'm confident of that.
and they say they quit doing it in 1973. I don't buy any of that,
Because they implemented it. They like patented it, marketed it to fucking huge corporations. Potentially like Facebook, like ad apps,
Yeah.
whatever, that like watch your eye movement,
Oh, I know.
repetitive. Oh, the stuff that my kids watch. It's like
Yeah.
they make it a lot less hidden when it's on a kid's show, trying to manipulate
Sure.
their future spending habits.
Yeah, I could get that from an advertiser's perspective. Get them while they're young. They did it to us too, Mattel and all those guys. But
Oh yeah, with the commercials, so hard.
But then I had parents that were like, no, and then that was the end of it. I was like, give me that big old thing, and they're like, nah. And then I was like, all right, cool. That was the end of that. Except for Pee-wee's Playhouse, boy, I had every one of those. I had every figurine.
Of Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Oh,
You don't have
fuck
those
yeah.
anymore?
I wish I did.
Wow, those would probably be worth some bucks.
They probably threw him out after him masturbating in a adult theater.
It's like what you do when you
Yeah, exactly. He was the first one canceled for weird shit. I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What was he gonna do though moving forward?
That's
Poor
true.
Pee-wee.
I know.
What's his name?
Oh, shit. I usually know it. Only because you didn't ask me.
Dang it.
Subin, something like that. Ruben, something. I don't know. Hey, I hooked up Google. Let's look.
Pee-wee's real name. On the Abnormal Strange
Paul
and Weird
Rubens.
Show.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna say that. I'm like, it's Paul, probably. Paul something.
Well, he was pretty weird, so it goes in line with this. Have you watched that show as an adult?
I tried to watch
It's
Pee-wee's. Yeah. It was
how they came up with that shit. I loved it as a child.
Same. Which freaks me out as an adult.
I hated everything else.
Ugh.
I was like, I don't want to watch none of this crap. I watched Pee Wee Herman and like Eddie Murphy. That's what I watched as a child.
I watched all the movies. I was like super young when I watched like A Clockwork Orange first, or Rocky Horror Picture Show. I was maybe like
I don't know if I've watched either one of those all the way through, to tell you the truth.
Whoa, you should.
I remember weird parts of Clockwork. Is it A Clockwork Orange or just Clockwork Orange? Like they drank a bunch of milk and shit, right? Just something weird. And I think at that point I was doing painkillers, and that shit was giving me anxiety. And so when I'd watch stuff like that, I never made it through.
It's so meant to.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the difference between like the changes in your physiology that you get by watching a film. Like it's meant to inspire those moments where you shift, or your heart rate quickens, or you cry. But like the stuff on social media, like, is tearing our society apart, like in half directly, and telling us what to buy and wear. And that's like just the influencing our buying habits is like the very least of it.
Totally.
The very, very least. I feel like they can get us as far as
it divides families. I mean, it started, with MySpace and Bush. People were a lot more vocal because they were able to.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you liked them, you went after the non-believers and so on. Then when Obama came around, well, and with the Bush thing, that was all the, after 9/11 and all the war, the weapons of mass destruction, and then Obama divided families because with the health care, and some people just because of his race, and then the Trump whole thing, and then QAnon. QAnon was a big one. Have you seen that new QAnon doc on HBO Max? You
No,
should
I
watch
should.
it. You really should. Even if not, it's just interesting because he's very unbiased in that thing. He just kind of shows what's going on from every angle.
Mm.
And, you know, he doesn't say QAnon's bad. He doesn't say anything. He just showed what happened. He documented how documentaries. I like to say that. Documentaries. How they should be. It should be totally unbiased and just a documentary. You know what I mean?
It's kind of impossible.
It is kind of, and you can follow a narrative, but this one was really well done. It reminded me of some of the early. I'm trying to even think of something that really sat with me. But usually it's just like, hey, this guy did it. Look, I mean, like making a murder, that was totally one-sided. I'm not saying those guys didn't do it or they did do it, but it certainly was made to believe that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they were innocent, which
Yeah.
is easy
Didn't
to
they
do.
just rearrest Brendan Dassey?
Like recently?
Yeah.
Nah, they never let him out, the poor kid.
They did. They let him out.
No, they
and
were
then
going
picked him
to,
right
and
back
then
up.
no, they were going to, and they said, nah, never mind.
Huh. I got to brush up on my chops.
Yeah, he never. They're supposed to come out with a third season of that crap. I'm like, let's let it. If they get out, let us, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they did the same thing for the West Memphis 3.
oh, totally.
Did you ever dig into that? I know you said you hadn't really.
Well, some of those ones where people's civil liberties get taken away and stuff, I can't watch those, man. Because just like you said, it's gonna do exactly what it's meant to do, is get your emotions rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do it. My anxiety goes through the damn roof, and and there's nothing you could do. And it's annoying.
The only reason I ever watched that first documentary, I was real young too, is because I was super obsessed with Metallica.
Oh yeah.
And that was the only commercial produced thing that they allowed their music to go on. And they made it clear that that was the case. I'm like, I gotta watch this. And then I was like, holy shit.
I wasn't even aware of that, and I was a huge Metallica fan.
Oh yeah.
When did that one come out?
Jeez. I don't know. They used Master of Puppets tunes.
Oh really?
And Justice, but it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
93, I think they got arrested.
Was it? Yeah.
Ish. Maybe 96, I don't know.
Yeah, I have trouble with that stuff. I can't do it.
Yeah, time is an illusion.
Definitely. When any one of us can get wrapped up in that shit. I mean, your whole life could change so quickly.
And so I just jumped back to MK Ultra. Just thinking of like the scope of what they might have tried.
Oh man.
Hearing what they are willing to talk about. Because and the most of the shit that you can find on this stuff comes out of Canada.
Sure.
And they had 9 people who sued in the 80s.
See, that makes more sense because I was kind of looking at more of the American side. So yeah, that makes sense.
So, and they were waiting on America to make a move or to settle. And they're like, if they settled, though, all hell would break loose in America about it, or in the United States, I should say, because America's all the continents, the Americas. Anyway, one of them, so I guess they settled out like 4 years later or so. And then one of them finally settled after No. I read it said 60 years. I'm like, that doesn't make sense though, because it was 84. So it's like 40 years. I wonder if they started in the 50s. Somebody must have sued him right away. Or was it the death, that suicide?
Yeah. Well, I don't remember what year that happened.
A lawsuit. Okay, let me see if I pulled it up. Was settled 60 years ago.
Well, they officially halted it in 1973, so I wonder.
They officially halted it, but that's horseshit.
That's what I mean. Maybe that was the time period they paid out to shut people up.
So they're already taking depressed patients and then they're depatterning their minds to implant new behaviors. And that's what I was using those specific, they weren't really meditations. It's like you just listen while you fall asleep.
Oh, sure.
And it just implants that stuff into your head. And it was beautiful messages, and I was using it to improve my life. It worked. My thoughts. And that's what I found in AA too.
Sure. See, I have trouble going to groups of anything and admitting anything wrong. Just to be honest, yeah.
Sounds like you might have been thinking about this.
I could be doing that on a personal level, but not in front of groups. Because then I get my performance side starts, and then I want to,
say stuff that's funny.
Well, I want to get the room going, or I want the crowd to go after me, or whatever. I just can't help myself. I've always been that way. Bartending didn't help, because I was basically on stage every day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So then
it might work well for you.
Well, I'd either start lying, make my story look worse, and then they'd all find out I'm a fraud, or I might just do comedy the whole time and not be serious.
You're in a room full of frauds in an AA meeting.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
You know what I mean? There's no judgment. Oh my God, we're talking about this. Get in there. I took a friend there recently to their first meeting, and I remembered like why it was so important for me to like start a new chapter.
Sure.
Because of the indoctrination, because of the way they help you. It's a new design for living.
Sure.
So, I mean, this science has been going on. And then in the 50s through the 70s, they just had like a hall pass to just fuck people up.
Yeah.
And in those years, they probably found out a lot of shit. And we are just like bobbing in the wake of all the shit they've been doing to us.
Well, in families, if you were a little weird, you'd cut you out of your lives and throw you in a home. So they had endless supply of folks too that weren't going to talk about it, and if they did, the parents or whatever wouldn't believe them anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some of them were legit as like professors and good regular people who had like postpartum depression or anxiety.
Yeah, had a bad day.
Big old renowned docs.
Out a little bit. Yeah, maybe we should dive into that at some point. All those early asylums and
I would love that.
Horrifying stuff.
Tittycum's Follies. Powerful movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
There's not much narration. They just kind of take you through the place, and it's just fucking brutal.
Well, and even strangely, some of those doctors thought they were actually helping those patients. Some of them were sick fucks that wanted to see what they can pull off. But some guy was like, yeah, I think jamming a spike into someone's brain will really help them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stir it around.
Yeah. They really thought that. I mean, I've wanted to do that to a few people. Don't get me wrong.
I've thought about that a lot, lobotomies.
It's freaky.
I've dug into it. I've tried to find video.
And they go through your eye, right? Or like on the side of your
both eyes, right? And then just detach your frontal lobe with a few swishes.
It's intense.
Oh, it's so bad. Rosemary Kennedy was turned into a vegetable.
One of the Kennedys,
talk about the Kennedy assassination with MK Ultra. Like they could just turn people on to their like a mission that's been implanted in them under heavy doses of LSD and fucking shock treatment.
That's another one. I don't know what to believe about JFK. Because I do believe there was definitely stuff in the background to make the assassination happen, but I don't think it was some huge, like, 10 people killing the guy. I think it was one or two. And they were just good at shooting. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? It wasn't like some spectacular, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I watched this doc. It was a whole brand new perspective, offering that one of the Secret Service members was fucking hungover and pulled on his gun and shot him in the back of the head.
Just by accident?
Behind him. Yep.
Well.
Yep. Tragic accident that they've been trying to cover this fucking Secret Service guy's ass ever since, and people have just taken it and ran with it.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that. What's that one? What's that documentary called?
I wish I could remember, but it explains like the movement on the grassy knoll. Like that's where the bullet went.
Yeah, and there's so much computer stuff that can prove like trajectory and stuff like that. That one just seems like it was, it wasn't as huge as. I know that'll piss off a lot of people, but it didn't seem
fucked up. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think it was as huge as it might have been.
The mob and shit with Joe. Is that his name? Joe Kennedy? His dad?
Yeah, I think it was Joe. Mm-hmm.
He was super.
He was the one who like killed a woman, right? Was it Joe?
Oh my gosh.
That was just drunk.
No, that was Teddy, right?
Teddy Kennedy. Yeah. He's just driving and she got in the water and he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Didn't even try to help her ass.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Man.
That's what the story, well, at least what I read, is he was whatever rich area, Martha's Vineyard or whatever, and he was driving home drunk with his mistress or whatever and got in an accident and it ended up in the water and he just didn't do anything because he
just got out.
Yeah, he just got out, or he didn't want to get caught, or with his either side chick or prostitute or whatever she was. I don't even know the story, so I'm probably butchering it.
We'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
I remember it being a big deal when I was a little kid.
And then his poor son, or Kennedy's son, too, he just died in a plane crash. And everybody's like, nope, he's coming back and he's going to run the world in 2020. That's like, just some people die.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's definitely backgrounds to things. But I think in that case as well, he's just unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
People die in those little planes all the fucking time. So, who knows?
Yeah, those Kennedys.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many of them. Of course, there's going to be tragedies left and right. Those Catholic kiddos. I'm more into Kennedy's conspiracies about his gals and stuff. That stuff seems
like
more
Marilyn Monroe.
There was lists of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's just how he would sneak them in and out. I think that's more interesting than anything. He had like secret rooms put in. There was one story I read. I wish I could remember the girl's name because she was. Oh, I'm gonna have to look her up too. It was something like BB or Belchy. It was something really hilarious name, and she was like 18, 17, whatever. And Kennedy saw her in a crowd and was like, had the Secret Service talk to her and say, "You want to come to the White House or whatever?" I wish I could remember her name. Mimi? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. And they had some private pool in the back. She shows up, and one of his buddies was there, a senator or his brother or something, and he was like, "Hey, blow my friend for me." And she just was like, "I guess I have to because the president told me to." And they ended up having this long relationship, and he would have his buddies sleep with her too. Very interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like the president that everybody loved. It seemed like both sides really enjoyed that man.
Mm-hmm. He had charisma.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I knew her name. Mimi Bugsley or something.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's really interesting. And back then, Secret Service, you got away with it. That's what they did. They kept shit quiet. And that was their job. If it was good, bad, or indifferent, you know what I mean?
Or if you shot Kennedy in the back of the head because you were fucking hungover.
You didn't tell. You certainly didn't fucking tell. That's for goddamn sure.
They put somebody up to Oswald, right? No, they just framed him for it. I have a friend who is, she creates art, and a lot of it has to do with that man.
Interesting. Yeah, that's another one. I don't know. He could have shot the guy, or attempted to, or maybe
not from where they said.
or maybe Homeboy shot him before he got to it, and he's like, "Oh fuck, what do I do now?" The Secret Service. Hey, see, we should do a documentary. Be like, "Hey, Oswald meant to do it, but this guy did it first."
Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oops a daisy.
Ooh, did you just hear my dog sneeze? Snore. He
No,
snores.
he's a snorer.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
I have a couple old dogs that snored.
He's got a big old like neck.
Oh, I've seen him. That's a big fella. That thing's what?
Geckos.
150 pounds or something?
Or so. Probably 160.
It's brutal.
He's big.
Yeah, I liked him. He's a good boy. That's a good boy.
But they say that's why Marilyn Monroe died. Or how she, because she knew too much. She was sleeping with both brothers.
See, and that's more of a love triangle thing, and that's more believable than...
She heard some shit, though.
Well, yeah, I bet. You know how guys are when their dick's hard. They say whatever the hell. She could have been asking stuff, and they would have told her, I believe that. I mean, it would be very tragic. But I think that makes more sense because, sexual crimes and love triangles are definitely a very real thing. So he could have just been one of the brothers could have just been trying to shut her up.
Crimes of passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't find any trace of the pills they said that she OD'd on in her stomach. Like it was in her system, but there were no pills in her stomach. And like they had a signature yellow outer coating or something that you would see. It wasn't there.
That's also, yeah.
Same with Jimi Hendrix, for some reason.
You think he?
I don't even know why they would murder him, but yeah, he was found with like there had been a struggle.
That's another one that I haven't heard much about. He was just a drug addict, I thought, and fucked up.
Yeah, I heard he was causing some trouble.
What do you think? He just played solos too good and they were getting mad at him?
I'm trying to think of what it was. I mean, I know he was bridging some gaps culturally, and I don't know. He had a lot of really beautiful, positive shit to say, and they like gutting people down for that.
Well, I hope that's not the case.
Right, it was pills and booze for him.
I hope it was just a sad, tragic accident.
Right, unless because they found pills that he had potentially tried to ingest but didn't. All throughout his hair, like in the positioning, it wasn't that he had just rolled over and passed out and threw up or something.
Oh, really?
Like it was all over him. Like there was a struggle. This is an old thing I watched too. I go down wormholes. It's what we're doing now.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's how you talk things out. Well, whenever I think about Jimi Hendrix, even a lot of those guys that die young, not that they should have died young, but imagine how disappointed if he just turned into just like a smooth jazz guitar player on Cozy when he was like 35 and everybody's like, what the fuck happened to Jimmy? Or Tupac, all those guys. You know what I mean? Right,
like James Brown. They're way out.
Yeah. Imagine how disappointed everybody would be. They're all just fucking Jimmy. He sucks. Whatever happened to the national anthem, man? Fuck.
Yeah.
I bet that pissed off a lot of white people back then. His national anthem.
Yeah, they killed him.
Maybe. Maybe that's what did it. It was some patriots.
Damn white people.
Could be. Yeah.
See, and I feel like that's a big part of what's being used against people right now is race.
Oh yeah, I'll agree 100% with that. And it's kind of gone full circle, hasn't it? Not that it ever remotely went away.
It just shifts depending on the like.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So like Asian American crime. was the lowest out of all races, or whatever control group you're looking at, not control group,
Yeah.
but like social group.
Yeah.
And now with the whole the dialogue around COVID and like the Wuhan flu, and this thing is getting people all pissed off at Asians, and now they're like, look at what you're doing to Asians, only they're reporting on the same number of instances, only this is where the camera's pointed now.
Sure. No, totally.
The stats are staggering.
It's sad because I think there was some definite good conversations about race, and things were, I mean, I don't ever remember when I was a child, or even up until almost Obama, these just blatant racial things just out in the open. You know what I mean? I know it's where I grew up, and so I was lucky. But it's disgusting now, all over social media, all over the news. It's, you should be ashamed if you're black. You should be ashamed if you're white. It's disgusting. And it's everything's going backwards.
Yep.
And it's not good. I don't like that one bit. It's like, what fucking year is this? Come on. Jesus Christ.
It's just what they are using. It's the most effective tool at this point.
Yeah, but how do you get had by it? You know what I mean?
Social media.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Social Dilemma?
I still won't watch it.
Watch it. Dang right. It. Watch it.
I know you keep bringing it up.
Talk about it.
All right, fine.
Watch it.
I'll watch it.
We ought to do a reaction show to something. That would be one.
Yeah, we could do that. No problem. I don't see why not. There's this. Oh, you don't have Prime, huh? Prime Video? Maybe I could figure out a way to. You can watch it together. Give
me your logins.
Yeah, I don't even know them. So I'm afraid to log out of everything. Right. Because that shit's gone. Then I'll have to do work.
Seems to be the. I've got a few different logins keeping me streaming.
Nice.
But I haven't gotten the Prime yet. I mean, I had Prime for myself there for a while, but then I wasn't getting anything shipped to me, and that's the only reason why I got it.
Oh, Prime's great for late night alcoholism. I order all kinds of weird shit.
Oh,
Last week I ordered a new chair because I don't know if you noticed, my chair was squeaking in our video.
I didn't notice.
No, well, that's all I could hear.
Oh.
I heard it once. I heard it once, and then that was the end of it. All I could hear was squeaking.
Fuck that chair.
I was able to get rid of it on the audio side for the upload, but not on the YouTubes.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Wow.
Often my late night Prime ordering is like vegan beef jerky, a chair, and a paddle ball. Just random crap that's on my mind. And then I'm like, I'll wake up and there's a package. I'm like, all right.
Vegan beef jerky, is that made out of mushrooms?
Some of it. Last time I found a brand of ones that were made out of mushrooms, I ate so much it got my gout acting up. My whole toe. See, I can't even. I'm just disgusting. Is there a vegan beef jerky anonymous? I can't do anything. I can't do anything in moderation.
Not even snacks.
No, hell no.
That's all right. That's common, right?
It's probably bad for me. That's for sure.
You could 12-step it.
I wouldn't want to. What's the step you have to go back and tell everybody sorry? That one I wouldn't like.
That's the 9th step.
Because then I'd have a lot of sorries to do.
That was my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they embraced well? That's what I'm worried about. Or did some people just say, yeah, go fuck yourself?
Not a one.
Oh, nice.
Not one. And there were some really awkward ones.
Yeah.
Really, really awkward ones. But they were, for the most part, proud to be a part of it because I had the guts to go do that.
Yeah.
And for them, because they deserved it.
Sure.
My apology. And for so many different things. And to have a notebook full of that shit, it's a little intimidating. But to start going through it.
No, I bet.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. You rekindle relationships. You can like squash shit finally. Like
Yeah.
people are intimidated by it, but it's so good to be able to just be honest with people and own your shit.
I don't think I've upset enough people where they're not in my lives, luckily. But I've definitely screwed shit up because of being a drunk. Definitely.
Hmm.
Yep.
It does that. Firewater
Oh yeah. And
can
I
ruin
really
everything.
I look back and I see my sober self. I did a solid 7 years and I loved that person, but I also love drunk me too. So it's kind of like, but I know drunk me is not good. I'm fairly a productive drunk, which is probably not healthy. I put all kinds of shit together with my drunk self.
Hmm.
So then that's like not an excuse. You know how some people are like, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, no, I did it. It was still fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am not functioning.
I still have great credit. I still pay all my bills. I put together all this stuff, my whole studio. I've done
Drunk.
uh, trashed. I've
Yes.
done many, many, many recordings drunk. So I don't know. I don't think that's good. I'm not
Mm.
bragging. Definitely not bragging. I just can't use that as an excuse to help myself.
It's such a slippery slope for me because it doesn't take much.
Yeah, well, and I see a lot of people that happens, and it's not. It's almost like when I was really hitting it hard before I got drunk. I always wanted like myself to get a DUI or something just to stop me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But then finally, I just talked myself into it.
Into a DUI
Yeah, no,
or
I
into
wish
quitting.
into quitting. I literally one time I went to the fucking police department, trashed, and I had all these subwoofers in my car. I had my music all the way up, and I'm just driving in circles, honking my horn for like 20 minutes, and no one came out. So I was like, oh well, I'm going home.
Wow, is that for real?
Yeah,
Good grief.
yeah, I know. I was
They're
like,
like, fuck that guy. I don't want to do the paperwork.
yeah, it was late at night. It was like, I like that song. It's fine.
Oh man. Is
Yeah.
it is a whole to do to arrest somebody for DUI,
Oh yeah. Sure.
especially me.
Yeah. You've
Put
been
up a bit of a
unfortunate to receive a few of those, haven't you?
and I was sassy through all of them.
Well, hey, make a moment of it, right?
It's mhm.
You don't
I
want to go
melted
quiet.
one wheel to a transformer on my first one.
Oh wow.
And they had to pull me off of the transformer with a tow truck before they'd let me get out of the car.
Jesus. Well, you lucked out there, didn't you? That could have been.
Somehow, from the bar to this transformer, which was maybe 2 blocks away, I got a pizza, full pizza. I sat in there and ate it. Or
Hmm,
maybe the cops brought it to me. I don't
hmm.
know how I got that pizza, but I was covered in it.
Oh man.
The box was just sitting on my steering wheel and like my chest. And I was just like eating pizza. It's crazy when they read the shit back to you as well.
Yeah. You think they ever just throw in a couple embellishments to fuck with you?
I don't think they had to for me.
Well, that's crazy. If it melted to that transformer, there was definitely electricity going on.
Yeah, I hit it.
You lucked out. Good for you.
Yeah, because of the tires.
Yeah. That my grandpa's car got hit by lightning, and he was fine because of the tires.
Hmm. Yeah, nuts. Nuts.
Well, I'm glad you lived through it.
I'm glad it happened too. And the first two I ran from. So it was like karma. I had to feel those consequences and I tripled them.
Yeah, to this day, I won't drive drunk because I got
That's
away with it. And I'm like, I just can't do it.
that's really good. I don't get to make those choices when I'm drunk
Yeah,
because drunk me takes over and will drive.
really. Yeah. No, I have like my my Boy Scout rules that are stronger than my alcoholism.
That's
Certain
super
things
good.
I just won't do. But
That's good.
yeah, no, I don't know how I fashioned that into my brain, but I did.
Functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, I won't pick any fights when I'm drunk, and I won't do any strange sexual shit when I'm drunk either.
I don't know. You might drop your pants.
I might drop my pants, but not my underwear.
You sure?
I don't think so. I don't think I ever have.
You could accidentally if your pants are going down.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you do.
I like to dance in my underwear in front of groups of people. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Dance, eh?
And no matter how much I want to, I won't. Like, even if I'm really trashed with somebody else, I won't take them home. Because I'm like, this is not going to go well. Either one of us is going to decide it wasn't consensual, or, you know what I mean? We don't need any of that headache.
God, you're so thoughtful when you're drunk. I'm just very like all the stuff that I can filter out at the date to date doesn't get filtered out, you know.
Well, I'm fortunate then, because I'm sure that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah. But before we went down that rabbit hole, or no, just like right at the beginning of the rabbit hole of DUIs and drunkenness. Like, I didn't learn how not to drink at AA, but I learned how to cope with life.
Sure.
And it's crazy how your drinking habits can change when you learn how to do that shit.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You do it for different reasons, for sure. That would make sense.
This podcast is turning into an AA meeting.
Yeah, it's fine. What the hell's the difference?
Okay.
We didn't say there was any narrative, did we?
No, nothing was announced. There was that video that I was like, we should talk about. But I haven't watched it since. It's buried in my messages.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess I sent it to you, but it was a while back. But I just remember there being that emphasis, or that's where I got the whole like Ghandi being a creeper and like molesting young girls just to test his celibacy.
Well, Nate, in that, I don't even remember what the name of it was, but it seemed like a lot of people who, well, the practice was to get close to orgasm and then sustain it rather than going on with the ejaculation. And a lot of those guys, I think, would use that to creep out on little younger women, and you know what I mean? They're like, oh no, it's for my enlightenment. But I think just like anything else, it was abused in improper ways.
Yeah, because Epstein practiced that.
That's what they say, that he would get close and then he would start doing business.
He had that ceremonial bathhouse.
Yeah.
Temple thing.
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein either. That's a whole nother weird thing too. But
those people are like at the top.
Oh yeah, if these people have figured it out just by not coming, I sure haven't figured that out. Once Daddy gets close, he ain't stopping. Fuck you. Like, hey, hold on, I gotta compose some notes. And you can imagine how annoyed those. Not only that they're getting abused, but then they're like, Jesus Christ, come on with it.
Finish already.
Yeah.
Gross
how many
old
business
man.
meetings are you gonna do, you fucking asshole?
They even said Epstein's dick looked like an egg.
Yeah. Was it from stopping too many times? It was blocked up.
Right? Because he's always pinching off the end in a way that makes it look egg-shaped.
That's awful. Well, it's probably a good thing that chapter's over. That was pretty disgusting stuff.
What's her name? Jill Slane or something? Ghislaine.
Yeah.
Now it's her turn.
Do you see that recent photo of her? The only photo is her with a black eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think that was herself or someone got a hold of her? What do you think?
She's probably really stressed. I don't know.
Well, even unlike Epstein, she was ungodly rich from birth. So this has really got to be real shock to her system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Take it in the face. It's fucking rich people. Pay some taxes.
Yeah, no shit. I couldn't imagine that. I mean, they were like a whole nother level of rich. All those people. Like no consequences. Clearly no consequences.
Yeah, and you can't like guilt by association, like birds of the feather though, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Well, yeah, they definitely don't think like the rest of us. And I think it's forgotten really quickly when you have that kind of wealth.
Broke
And
my heart to hear about Chris Tucker's involvement too.
oh, they say he was involved.
Oh yeah, he was on that plane all the time.
Oh, really?
He helped bring girls in too.
You think that's why he's no longer in the limelight? He's just trying to keep back, and he
Maybe he
hasn't
was
done
put in his
movies in
place.
years. Maybe.
Because I wonder if that was around the same time that, because Epstein got picked up years before his death, this final push, and just paid off a bunch of chicks
Yeah.
or something, or maybe it was just a one, or it was a kid.
Well, if any of them were smart, they should have done that throughout. You know what I mean?
If they were smart,
Yeah.
one of those most powerful fucking rich dudes without consequences. If the girls were smart,
Yeah.
get real, dude.
Yeah. Not the girls. I'm talking about the guys. Like they should have been. They could have kept it all hush hush. Be like, all right, sorry, here's $1 million, and these people are from such poor situations. They probably would have been like, oh, okay.
It's true. They did. They preyed upon girls in like group homes and
Yeah,
homes
and
and
they'd
shit.
give them like fucking $50, $200. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a time to be cheap if you're trying to cover up a network of fucking predators. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
but
you're gonna
you
be
can't.
spending any money at all, that's where you should be spending it, not on fucking islands and dummies.
He had it. He had it though. You don't shell out that kind of money though until they get pissed
Yeah, but that's
and
just
get wise
stupid.
on you.
It's just dumb. It's just they keep getting away with it, and they think they're so smart, but in fact they're quite ignorant when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows about that whole thing? Like, so Pizzagate has ties somehow to Epstein. Ping
Sure.
pong. What was that?
I still won't.
Comet
I
ping
still
pong.
can't go down the Pizzagate thing with any of y'all. I don't.
Turns out in that movie Social Dilemma, they
Mm,
talk about it being an algorithm.
what the?
All of Pizzagate, they put together an AI put together
Oh,
searchable terms and like manufactured itself this
and people just
genre
bought it.
of conspiracy theory with
Hmm.
you know
That'd
the
be,
baby juice and shit,
huh?
adrenochrome and whatnot.
Well, good. I'm.
Well, I don't know. I know that's out. That's QAnon stuff.
Well, I'd rather a fucking computer be fooling people than going down a rabbit hole like that on your own.
I mean, I sure did. I went down that rabbit hole. I
Well,
was like, what is this about? And I dug and
at least you just explored it and you didn't become going down there shooting stuff.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with exploring things, right?
right.
I'm all about it all the time.
I was curious about it too. There was weird stuff. Like there was an artist who did a lot of the artwork in Epstein's house, and it was all kid stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, and Justin Bieber, and he still has it on his Instagram. If you go back to whenever that Yummy song came out,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see there's baby picture after baby picture where he's like hashtag yummy.
Who, a Bieber?
Yeah.
Ugh, creeper.
And that
Well,
song is
see?
about how he was exploited as a kid. So he goes on his Instagram, there's probably 12 to 15 different babies he's like yummy on.
Hmm.
Some aren't all the way dressed.
No, thank you. Well, that's probably another instance of just becoming ungodly rich and going, not knowing, you start mingling with people, and who knows? You start thinking you
Child
can.
stars, child actors, like listen to what Corey Feldman has to say. Like he's nuts and all, but like he was fucked with.
Oh, definitely.
Same with Britney Spears, the Mouseketeers.
They're definitely products of not great upbringings. That's for damn sure.
and molding by a whole, the music industry.
Mm-hmm. She's supposed to have a new trial about getting her shit back here soon.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Jesus Christ.
There's that meme. Well, I don't know if it's a meme or just a post or an article or something talking about what caused her to shave her head.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I wish that she would have just said that that's what it was back then. She couldn't leave her house without somebody putting in extensions in her hair and like yanking on it. And she's like, I just wanted people to stop pulling my fucking hair, touching me. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
girl.
that poor thing was definitely a product of awfulness all around.
Mm-hmm. We all are.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Well, and she was just so young and thrown into that shit, and yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. She has no parental rights over her kids or herself. She can't even sign her own checks,
Yeah.
pull out her own money.
Ugh, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. Well, I don't know.
It's like how humans have evolved to like manipulate the mass as if it were. I mean, I guess the internet did make us kind of a super organism.
No, it definitely
Like
connected
fungus.
us. Yeah, I've talked about it often on here and every other show. Is the internet's awesome, but it's also just a horrible, horrible thing. And it's going to lead to our demise in some way.
Yeah, you should watch that Social Dilemma because you're like in some way. They tell you all the ways.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it was right.
They're like, we predict social collapse.
It was about, I guess, 3 years ago. I was scrolling through Facebook and I just felt gross, and I got off of it then and there. And I haven't used it for a social tool ever since. I use it to promote this stuff and my other show, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I can't look at what my friends are saying. And if I do anything, I do it on Twitter, because I'd rather see what some crazy rich person is saying, or like a star. I don't want to hear how my neighbor is an asshole. I don't need to know that. He's my neighbor. I wave at him. Or my aunt is anti-black, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, shut up, everybody.
It's brutal.
Everybody shut up for a little while.
I get in trouble on social media.
It's easy to do. Absolutely.
Yeah, Facebook mainly. It seems like there's something special about Facebook itself.
Oh, people.
Instagram's cool. Like it limits your ability to interact with the posts.
Sure.
Like Facebook, you can go deep diving and stalking people.
Oh,
I don't know if you
man.
can on Instagram, can you?
I don't even use Instagram.
Snapchat's fucking worse. Like you can pull up a map and see where all your friends are.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
The young lady at work showed me how to turn that off. It's weird because I have different friends that I use. It's really weird. I use different texting methods with different friends, and it means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason behind any of them. So one of my employees, I think it's just her age group, is everything's through Snapchat. So I don't know if she's just trying to hide everything. And then an old friend of mine, everything's through Snapchat. Mark, my buddy, everything's through Google Hangouts. And we both have text messages with each other's phone numbers, but we've always used Hangouts. And then
That's just where you meet.
And then I had Messenger with you forever, and we finally got each other's phone number. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it took a couple years.
I just don't get it.
I'll end up in Messenger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think we've covered some good ground today.
Yeah.
I want to dive into. I totally forgot about the Dulce, New Mexico thing.
Yeah.
But I think we can do quite a chunk on that. So
I
don't
so
want to
too.
dive
We'll
into it yet. So we'll save that for next week. How about that?
I'm in.
I think that's a good idea. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. This was ASW, Abnormal, Strange, and Weird. Go to all our content at aswcast.com. My other show is called Sofabab. Go to sofabab.com. And you have a nice little tarot business.
Oh, we don't have to do that every time.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Green Heart Tarot on Instagram. 333.
Got to plug your stuff. That's
All
what
right.
you got to do. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us.